Preparations are underway for the 2017 legislative session. Last week, Senate Republicans announced a new committee structure and appointed chairmanships. To talk about this and other priorities for the next legislative session is the Senate Majority Leader-elect Paul Gazelka. Welcome.
Thank you.
So in this new committee structure, there are 3 committees that are devoted to health care, including one on long-term aging. What do you hope this new structure will accomplish?
You know, we did a lot of campaigning. Many legislators that are now legislators went door to door everywhere, and the number one issue was health care, but it wasn't always the same health care issue. One of them was MNsure and the premiums. One of them was how we deliver health and human services care to people. And aging was another one. What are we going to do with the aging population? And so that's a big committee that we made into 3 committees, each of them having direct responsibility. They can pass a bill there and it'll go straight to the floor, but so that we could look at those 3 areas separately. So Michelle Benson is in charge of the portion that will deal with MNsure and medical assistance and maybe future Minnesota Care or MSHA, but all of that related part. And then Senator Abler will be dealing with the health and human services issue, how we provide care from the government to people that need care. And then we have another one that will be for aging that we've got set up as well. But all 3 of them are important, and that's why we divided it out into 3.
The new administration of President-elect Trump has campaigned on repealing the Affordable Care Act. In terms of how Minnesota deals with health care into the future, are you planning to sort of a wait-and-see attitude to see what Congress does, or will you be moving forward with some of your own initiatives?
Well, we're pretty convinced that they're going to defund it or repeal it in some form or the other in the first few months. I think we should expect that to happen. But even if they do, MNsure still exists. That runs separate from Obamacare because we set up a state exchange. And so we have to start working on it. In fact, we are working on it right now. One of the things, for example, is related to the high risk, people that have high risk trying to get health insurance. Most of them have been funneled into MNsure, which means that's why those rates have been going up as much as 67%.
In that 5%
yes, and so
individual
versus
market. Yeah.
What we had before was MSHA, Minnesota Comprehensive Health Association. I think it had about 10 times as many people that it collected premiums from, so that was spread out much farther and more affordable for everyone. So there's lots of things we can do. It doesn't really matter whether they do it right away or not at the national level. We have to work right away here.
Tax relief is a high priority for your caucus. It's a little early for any detail, but any tax relief that you're interested in, would it be directed towards small business, big business, individuals, or potentially rolling back Governor Dayton's tax increases?
Well, first of all, we have to see if a special session happens and then includes the tax relief that we passed last year. 89% of legislators, House and Senate, Democrat, Republican, passed a tax relief bill. So I don't know what's going to happen there. If that doesn't happen, then ag property tax relief is really important. Small business property tax relief is important. We gave credit for student loans on their tax forms, so we gave some relief there. One of the things that did not happen, the House passed, the Senate did not, was income tax exemption for Social Security. And so that would be certainly another one that we want to look at. But we believe tax relief is important. 4 years ago, the other side raised taxes over $2 billion. We had a $2 billion surplus once we made it through the recession, so we think some of that should go back to the taxpayer.
When looking at Minnesota as a business-friendly state, different organizations come in at different numbers. For example, CNBC and Forbes rank Minnesota highly. The Tax Foundation gives the state a low ranking. What is your view of the business climate of Minnesota?
Well, first of all, CNBC didn't ask the business owners. They just decided on the dynamics of what a state would be good for businesses, which I don't think was fair. If you ask NFIB, the small business group, or the chamber, the big business group, both of them would say that we are not a very tax-friendly state. So the measurements we use, I think it was either 4 or 6 years ago, we were ranked 43 worst. Now we're to 47, so there's not many places that are worse than what Minnesota is. And so I'd like to get down under 40. I mean, let's not be in the top 10 worst states for businesses. And the reason being is because they're the ones that create the jobs. If they're here, if they're successful, they pay well, they create more jobs, and everybody wins. If they lose or leave to another state, we lose. they're still functioning, but they're going to function somewhere else. And so that's why I want to be a business-friendly state, because in the end, it provides the jobs that everybody is looking for.
Some journalists and longtime political observers anticipate that this session will be fairly contentious because of the divided government. At your press conference, you spoke of a desire to work across party lines, and you have a reputation for doing that. Are you committed to continue working in as much as possible, a bipartisan way?
Absolutely. I mean, we have to solve the healthcare crisis, and for that to be a win, the governor has to win, and the House and Senate have to win, and that's Republican and Democrat. So that's a big one we have to get done. We have to pass a good long-term roads and bridges bill. And again, it has to be bipartisan. And so you're right, I have earned a reputation of where we can build bridges together, we should do it. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of areas that you are going to be partisan. I know that I will be in certain situations, but on the things that are good for Minnesota that we should do, that everybody benefits from, that should not be partisan.
What motivated you to seek the Senate Majority Leader position?
The short answer is my wife.
Okay.
It's funny because we thought, we had Senator Hand, that he would be our majority leader, and suddenly he loses early in the night, and then we still win. We still take the majority. And so my wife said, I really think you should run. And so she's a wise lady. So, so I didn't have a lot of time to think about it. I just thought, I think I have skills that could help our Republican caucus, but also the state of Minnesota. And I've lived all over the state of Minnesota. So I thought, this is a good opportunity and I should walk in it. Is
there anything about the position that gives you cause, though, or pause, not cause, pause?
Well, I don't know everything. I've never done it before. And so, but that's why I intend to surround myself with good leaders that are, different. Where if you look at our leadership team, we're from all parts of the state. We're very different from each other. If you look at the chairs I've selected, most of them have experience in the area that they're going to be in. I'm going to surround myself with good leaders. Good leaders make the majority leader look good.
That's a good way to put it. So before we go, tell us something about yourself that might surprise Minnesotans.
Well, down here I have a trademark, or have a tie with a matching handkerchief.
Yes, you do.
So I dress up, but I really feel most comfortable in jeans and a pickup.
Senate Majority Leader-elect, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.